Welcome to Classes of Mail. Before you listen, you should know that Alan Gigax is not in any sense an official spokesman for the post office, the NALC, or anybody else. His opinions are inherently his own and should probably be disregarded. Same for his guests. Any information you hear on this podcast could be wrong and should not be relied upon for any reason. Enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Classes of Mail. My name is Alan Gigax and I'm here with Michael Brazenly.
Hi, everyone.
Dude, so I can't believe how long it took me to just build the fade in or the fade out into the intro. Because up until this batch of episodes, I've been having to manually turn the dial down that has the intro music when it's time for me to start talking. This is much simpler. And it goes to show you, I come across as smart on these episodes because I get to prepare and I can read the things, but doesn't mean I'm smart about everything. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. So one of the things that I was not smart about for the bulk of my career was standing up to management and telling them that it takes however long it takes. It took me about 14 years to finally learn that and internalize it, and I still fall prey to it every now and again. But that's the subject of today's episode is...
It took me a couple of years.
Yeah, Mike's a lot sharper about that stuff than I am. And, thanks to all of these podcasts, like from 8 Arbitration and Parcels of Knowledge, and hopefully this one, carriers are being empowered to have that realization earlier and earlier. I know when I started, there was this guy named Tristan who knew all the rules and knew how to do his route and always had these nice routes. And he would try to share his wisdom with me, and I just wasn't in a place to hear it. So,
which is most carriers.
Yeah, yep, that's the way it goes. And that's part of why I don't push my podcast out. Like, dude, when people want it, it's there.
And then those people will
Yep.
complain about how sweet your route is.
Right. Yeah, how come he's got such a cherry route? Well, I'll be happy to tell you why. Mm-hmm. Please listen to episodes 1 through 116, and
Right.
You can find out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so speaking of that, I mean, that's kind of the impetus for this episode because we just had route adjustments at my station, and at the end of the route adjustments, my route is great. My route didn't get an ad. If anything, it got a small reduction, and I came out okay, but 3 routes in my station were eliminated. And the idea behind these route adjustments is that we have lower and lower mail volume, and so we should be needing fewer people to get this mail delivered. Somehow, that only applies to carriers. We need more management for some reason to get less mail delivered.
They keep hiring more managers, though.
Yeah, they do.
So I don't understand.
They're not eliminating management positions.
We're getting less mail, but let's hire more managers.
Right. Even though computers do more and more of that
We're
work.
getting more housing and bigger population.
Yep.
But we need more managers, but not more carriers.
And then less carriers. Right, exactly.
Something's off on here.
Amazingly enough, this plan has not worked out super well at my station. So we're going to... Since the adjustment, my station has been an absolute shit show. And even before the adjustment, we were having these intermittent problems of routes not going out or sections of routes going out or ads not being delivered. That was a big one. We had
maybe you should get all the carriers from your station to file a complaint to the president since it is his station.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's not a bad
Tell
idea.
them to all
So
call
apparently on my day off last week, the branch president of our union came by our station and I don't know what carriers actually say to him, but I know they tell me after the fact, like, oh, I gave him an earful about what a shit show this is and how we need better representation. I have no idea if they're actually saying it, but it's nice to hear them say it to me anyway. So anyway, we had at my station like entire bundles of ads, our weekly ads. I'm probably just going to call them advos so you guys know what I'm talking about. I think they're called advos in most places. It's the weekly grocery ads that you get. I know not everybody gets them, but that's what I'm talking about when I say advos. And there were entire bundles of advos thrown into our UBM hampers to go down to recycling, like with the straps still on them. So clearly no attempt was made
He has
to
no
deliver
proof of this
these.
ever. He just
I do
heard-
have
he
proof
heard.
of this. Bullshit. I got photographs of it. That's not against the law to say no, fuck that. I'm saying it.
Okay.
All right, Michael is trying to temper me a little bit, and that's reasonable. I get
Yeah,
it.
usually he's the one who has to tell me. So.
Right.
But,
But dude, I sent that shit off to the OIG.
yeah.
You know, I had the evidence of this wrongdoing, and it was management, with management's blessing, that this stuff was going into the recycle hampers completely undelivered. And it's fucked up.
That is a grievance.
Yeah.
If somebody filed a grievance on that?
Come on. If I were the steward, absolutely. Because the problem is they're artificially shortening the routes.
Right.
And obviously it's a disservice to our customers, like the
Right.
people at Advo who are paying for these to be delivered.
Especially with the economy the way it is. And a lot of people are looking for that coupon.
Yeah, that's right. Right. A lot of your customers actually want those ads. So amazingly, and mind you, this is all before we had our route adjustments. So this will shock management, but getting rid of 3 routes did not solve this problem. So now,
So I'm sure it made it worse because now you
of
got
course, it
routes,
made it
bigger
worse.
routes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. We have longer routes, and now we're coming into political season. The timing is perfect because now we have a lot more mail. We have ballots. We have all
Dude,
these
it's gonna
political
be a
ads going on.
mess.
Yeah, it is a mess.
Because we're already getting political mail.
Yeah, yep, it is a mess. And dude, so what is management doing? They're trying to cover up the problem and pretend it doesn't exist.
Trying to hide it.
Trying to hide it. And they do this with carriers' consent or with carriers' cooperation. And that's the fucked up part that I need you guys not to do. Because, like, for example, with the ads, there is a barcode that we have to scan at my station, the Advo scan, that says that the ads were delivered. And management will try to use this bullshit. Oh, it's just acknowledging that we received the ads or that they made it to the... No. You mark delivered on your scanner.
Scanner actually said, is it delivered?
The scanner says delivered. Exactly. This is an ad that it tells the Advo company that their ads were delivered. And, you know, management tried to deny it. And I actually had my union steward file a request for information of, hey, what does it mean when we scan this thing? And management had to acknowledge, yeah, it means they were delivered.
I've had many times where Mag will go around and tell you to scan it, deliver. And
Right.
I refused.
Yeah, you should refuse unless you're actually
And
delivering.
here's the thing is, on this one, I told management, I said, you know what? Why don't you issue me discipline?
Exactly. I dare you.
For
refusing to falsify records.
Refusing to falsify records.
Yep, exactly.
And so I want you to go and do that, see how far that goes.
Yeah, I dare you. Yeah, I would love to get that discipline. Yeah, bring it.
Yeah.
And so, but a lot of carriers, just management tells you, oh, scan this thing. Well, it's no skin off my nose to scan the thing, and a carrier just scans it. And dear listener,
And you will have carriers go, I don't understand why you don't want to scan it. It
Yeah,
only
who
takes
cares?
seconds.
Right.
Yeah, who cares? Well,
that's why we're doing this
Those are the
episode.
carriers that are the bitching and screaming right now because their routes are so huge.
right. Yep, that's exactly
Those
right.
are the carriers.
Yeah. And so why is management doing that? Why is management having us scan the Advo scan even though the ads aren't being delivered?
I know exactly the reason
for
why
it.
we're doing it.
Why is that?
Okay. Because Imagine was not having the carriers deliver the Advos.
Right.
Okay. And the carriers actually filed a complaint with the Advos company. And the company asked the post office, hey, how come you guys didn't deliver?
Right.
Okay. So they created a program to scan the Advos.
Right.
Saying that, hey,
For
once we
accountability.
deliver it,
Yeah.
we're going to scan it.
Right.
So what do they do now? Now they're trying to lie about it.
Right. Now just scan it and don't deliver it. Yeah. But
But in reality,
So-
it's a customer service thing, right?
that answers it. Of course it is.
Yeah.
That answers the question of why the Advo scan exists in the first place. But what I'm asking is credit to you for asking the question I answered.
Because that's
Or
what
answered.
happened here in Las Vegas. That's
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. That's
So
what happened.
you answered the question that I asked. What I meant to ask is why is management having us falsify that scan? Why would management do that?
Well, because it has to be delivered.
Yeah.
And so they're falsifying and saying we delivered it.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
They're trying to say that they did the thing that we're supposed to do so that management is in the clear.
Yeah.
But our
so that
customers,
management is in the clear.
Right.
Not us.
Right. But our
Okay.
customers are on the ass end.
Because let's say a customer complains that the Advos was not delivered.
Right.
Okay. So they're complaining to the Advos company.
Right.
So my whole neighbor didn't get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Advos company reaches the post office and say, hey, how come these adverts were not delivered on this address and,
Right.
and the whole street? Then you know what the management's going to do?
They'll pull up the record of the Advo scan.
Or the person who scanned it delivered.
Right. Yeah. Hey,
Why'd
this
you
carrier
lie?
says it was. That's exactly right.
They'll do an investigation. Well, manager so and so told me to. And then
That's
they'll-
a he said, she said.
And then you
Yep.
got to go to the management, and they're going to do the investigative interview with the management. Say, I never told the carrier that. You know
Right.
they're going to lie.
Yeah, I told them to scan it when they deliver it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is why you don't buy into their bullshit. And so, with these problems, with these routes being eliminated, every day at my station, we're falling further behind. And I know as a carrier, like, I can sympathize with the carriers who are just playing along because, you know, there's shit that's supposed to be done. And it's tempting to buy into management's bullshit because who really wants to deliver the ads? You know, maybe I do, but I'm the exception. Who wants to do their route maintenance where you got to do your pink cards and keep your forwards up to date and keep the area clear and all that stuff? Who wants to clean their truck? Who wants to empty out full boxes? Like, it's very easy for management to push you not to do these basic things because it saves them time. And it's easy for a carrier to agree not to do it because we're lazy.
Yeah.
And I get it. I'm as lazy as anybody.
So the other things that carriers do, I don't
Yeah.
know, without clocking in and working on.
Oh, dude,
the mail.
they start work. Dude, there's a carrier at my station who complained loudly about his route getting an ad, but before and after route inspections, he's going to the hot case every morning, getting his flats and starting to case them up before he clocks in. Yeah, and because I'm not the steward, because my branch president doesn't think I should be a steward, I can't file a grievance on that.
And the stewards you got don't file?
No,
Yeah.
they don't. We got one steward who is new and, you know, just doesn't, his heart's in the right place, but he doesn't have the skill yet. And then we have another steward who doesn't seem terribly interested and says, oh, I'm probably going to quit next month and quit being a steward. Well,
It's probably because carriers are yelling at this person
Right,
now for
right.
not doing the job.
Yeah. So,
It take some crappy shit happens.
right.
And then carriers will actually complain, but they'll go to the steward and complain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I know that carriers are coming to me to talk about it, and we're going to get into what I did about it near the end of the episode. But they're also going to the steward, I'm sure, because they know that's their steward. And yeah, I can only
But now
imagine.
we're gonna say, how come you didn't file a grievance? Well, you know, but the
Yeah,
see,
there's a part of it. Like, dude, I get it. You know, when I was new to being a steward, I don't even know what article I would look at if this is even a grievance.
so if you know, your steward knows that you know a lot of rules. So why doesn't the steward go and ask you?
It's a great question. Yeah, I mean, the new steward
Or-
does. The younger guy does.
Or maybe call the hall.
Right.
Okay, if the hall doesn't know, maybe call, I don't know, maybe Corey.
Yeah.
He does a lot of episodes about this. Or hell, even the National.
Right. Yeah, call the business agent.
Or maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know, just maybe, look at M39.
Right. Yeah, because
Okay.
and
There
that's-
is a lot of resources that we got for a
There
steward.
are. Absolutely, there are. Yep. So you
There's
know,
a Rowdyville book. There's an actual book about Rowdyville
there
that
you go.
our national hands out. In fact, you
Yeah.
can just go to the site at nalc.org.
Right.
And there is actually a part in there where you can actually look at Rowdyville rules.
yeah. So carriers follow along. You know, they neglect all this stuff because management's telling them to, and it winds up destroying the post office from the inside out. And it feels like it's being intentionally destroyed by management.
Yes.
Where, you know, at some point, we're going to have to rely on the public to help save the post office. That point is probably coming very soon.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Yep.
Are they getting good service right now when we're rushing, not delivering the
that's the problem.
advos and
That's
so
why
forth?
I'm saying
Okay.
that management's destroying us from the inside out
Right.
because they're telling the carriers to do a shitty job
Right.
and to not do the things that are necessary to do the job correctly because they want to save 10 minutes.
Right.
You know, and that's the bullshit that I'm pushing back against in this episode. Fuck that. We are not going to be a party to destroying the Postal Service.
Right. So many things are happening. I mean, I'm probably going a little off the wall here.
It's all right.
About there was a survey going out saying that let's make it 10-hour days and 4 days a week.
Right.
4 days a week, 10-hour days, so you still get 40 hours. And I looked at that and I'm going, okay, so what happens with the overtime? Well, there will be 2 hours of overtime, but no V time. Okay.
Is that
And-
the plan? I didn't see that was the actual proposal.
The proposal is to make it 4 day a week and have 3 days off a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's going to happen to overtime? Because if 10 hours is straight time,
Right. The 10 hours will all be straight time.
so then after 10 hours, it's not going to go straight to V time.
I wouldn't think so.
Right.
These are there's a lot of
So
questions. that need
most
to be
likely
asked.
it'll be just a
Yeah.
time and a half. So the V
Right.
time will go away.
And dude, I mean, another
Okay?
question along those
so
lines.
to Brian Renfro, we're saving the post office.
Right. Yeah.
But let's
Saving that post
let's
office
make
money.
life for the carriers even worse. Yeah, we
That's
might
the
get 3
difficult
days
thing.
of a week, but you know how management is. You're
Dude,
not going to work 10 hours. You're going to work 12 hours.
I don't-
So you're going to start work at, let's say, 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're going to be out till 9 o'clock at
o'clock
night
at night.
because there is no V time, no double time. Okay?
So
So you could be out till 9 o'clock.
All right.
Okay. Now they may say, well, if you work past 12 hours, then you might get the V time. Okay. And here's the thing, but you know, with the new contract, no one is allowed to work past 12 hours.
dude, okay.
So there will be no V time. Okay. So what I'm saying is that with the route cuts,
Yeah.
with all these things going on, and that is a preparation to cut the 6-day work week. Okay. So that you only have a 5-day work week because that one day will be the T6 will be doing that. Okay. And so when you cut that many days out, that means they're going to have to cut more routes down or more people, more T6 out. And not only that, because now we're only delivering 5 days a week, and it's making the post office more not as legitimate. And so as time goes on, because of these stupid fucking managers just following orders, have no idea that they are doing the shit to eliminate the post office. They are doing it to us.
Right.
Okay.
It's all being undermined.
And these idiots who's making $100,000 a year to $200,000 a year
so
doing it to themselves to lose their job. They're a bunch of fucking idiots.
to steer this car back onto the road, we're going to have to fend this stuff off in Congress. You know,
Yes.
and to do that, we're going to need public support. The post office is going to need funding
Because
at some point.
I'm sorry, more little
Go
bit of
ahead.
rent here, okay? Congress
I don't know
approved,
why I even write these fucking
sorry,
outlines.
I'm sorry. We go back to it.
It's okay.
Congress approved $5 billion so that we can get new vehicles. Okay.
Yeah, we've got like
we've only got
300
like
of them.
600 vehicles so far.
Right.
618 was the last time I saw the number. Okay. And it was supposed to be we have about 30,000 vehicles by end of 2025. Have we seen any of that? I haven't even seen a single one of those vehicles here in Las Vegas. Okay.
There are some allegedly, like at the Henderson post
Allegedly, we
office
got
or
a couple,
something.
but
Yeah.
I have not seen a single one yet.
Yeah.
Okay. But throughout the nation, we need new vehicles because, hell, I'm driving FFV.
I drive an LOV that was built
Exactly.
in 1990.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have vehicles that is not safe. Okay. To government safety thing on all the vehicles, our vehicles do not match the safety rules, but that's set by the government for all these vehicles. Okay. There's no airbags. Okay. There is no nothing. Okay. So you heard about the lady who died, I think in Ohio, right? And then management said that the person was sitting on the seatbelt.
Oh, this just happened as we record this. Yeah.
It happened a few days
I don't know
ago,
the details of it.
And so management is saying that she sat on the seatbelt and now was not wearing a seatbelt because she was flown out the one of the glass or something. Okay. But the vehicle rolled. Okay. So because the vehicle rolled, and let's say there was no air conditioning on like an FFV, you have the window open. And at that side, if it's rolling, you're going to come right out of that seatbelt. I'm sorry, but you will if you're rolling on the vehicle. So we have very unsafe vehicles. And then when we have a carrier that die on an accident, they put this report in and then try to not pay life insurance for the carrier's family. Okay? Bullshit. Okay? It's just a lot of bullshit. Okay?
Can I please steer this tumbling
Yeah, sorry,
LOV
sorry.
back onto the
Yeah,
road?
but anyway, I'm going to stop ranting. Okay. But I'm just upset because I believe in the post office. I believe because I believe our economy is going to shit, and I believe that that I'm glad that we have the job in the post office. But you said it yourself before. You have never felt that you were going to lose a job like it is now.
Yeah. This is the first time that I've actually been concerned that I might not have a job.
And it's not because the post office broke.
So then let's get back to
Okay.
the path forward,
Yeah.
because again, we're going to have to rely on the public
Yeah.
in order to stave off these issues. And it's not going to work if we're doing a shit job. We have to actually be a service that they want to preserve. So here's another way that management poisons us, and they poison the service that we're giving. And it's by using bullshit times for auxiliary assistance. This is the real 20 minutes in. We finally get to what inspired the episode.
The bullshit times, it's the lies.
Yeah, it's lies. So on the 3996, when you're asking for auxiliary assistance, the carrier puts the time in box K that says how much auxiliary assistance they're going to need or how much overtime they're going to need in order to complete the route. And then management in box L determines whether it's going to be auxiliary or overtime and how much time they
So what
approve.
happens when the carrier is off?
This is the
Alan?
question, and this is what's happening at my station. Thank you for steering us right into the topic. So at my station, when there is no carrier, when the route is vacant, what they'll do is they'll have someone case the route, and then they'll split it. And management develops the 3996 for the routes that are being split. And so maybe they'll split the route 3 ways, and they'll make 3 3996s. And back when I was a steward, I finally got them to stop writing the times in box K. And so they don't do that anymore, but they still put the time in box L, how much time is approved for auxiliary assistance. And so what they'll typically do is they'll split the route 4 ways, and each person will get an hour and 15 minutes. And do a little quick math here.
That sounds like 3 hours and 45 minutes.
No. 4 ways.
4 ways.
An hour and 15 minutes each.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would be 5
That
hours.
would be 5 hours. Now, I've talked to them about where this number comes from, because our routes are roughly 60 to 90 minutes in the office, right? And then 6 hours on the street. That's 6 hours of delivery time, plus you got your 10-minute breaks.
Yeah. So 30-minute lunch, 2 10-minute breaks. That comes to 50 minutes. So let's give it another hour. That's 6 hours.
Not the lunch. Yeah. Lunch is not included in any of this because that takes you to 8.5 hours, right? We're not talking about lunch.
right.
Forget about lunch. And I know that there's variation from route to route, but this is just for argument's sake so that we can move forward. So when management splits the routes in my station to like 5 hours, where does that come from? And I've asked them about it a bunch of times, and they give these bullshit reasons about breaks and about, well, you don't have the travel time that the regular carrier would have to get all the way out to the route. I mean, we still have travel time. And so, okay, so you got the 10.
And you're not familiar with the route either.
Right. Well, yeah, forget the fact that it's going to take you longer. Just the delivering itself should take you longer than the regular because it's not your route.
Right.
So let's say that, of the 6.5 hours of delivery time, you can cut off 40 minutes. Okay, that gets us down to 6 hours, maybe 5.5. It gets us closer to this 5 hour window so that the 5 hours, it's not correct, but at least it's not insane. And then management will also do 3 hour-and-a-half divisions. So it gets us down to 4.5 hours. And like, dude, they're splitting the route 3 ways on the street. So I know when I get a handoff, that's an hour and a half. It's going to take me 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes.
So Alan kind of made this kind of look like the management was kind of okay.
Right. That
It's
they're
not.
using at least some form of logic.
It's
And they're not. They
It's
are not.
Okay?
No.
Because you do the math, 5 hours, okay? Plus, that means on an 8-hour day, what happened
Right.
to those 3 hours? Okay?
That's-
because in
that's
reality,
right.
whoever is splitting the route, it probably took them less than an hour to case it.
Right.
Okay. Or whatever. So what happened to those 2 hours? So what they're trying to do is put those 2 hours for those 4 carriers to make up that time for them by running the route.
That's
right?
exactly right. That's
Okay?
why management does it.
And so when you run the route, what happens, Alan?
You make mistakes. You can get
Exactly.
injured. You
You get
have
injured.
safety issues.
Right.
There's a parade of bad things that happens when you
Exactly.
rush through a route. So management sets us up for failure. And
And unsafe.
yeah, and unsafe and bad service and all that stuff. And then they'll go even further. And this is why the theme of the episode is don't let management bully you. Don't let them manipulate you like this. Because then they'll say like, oh, your normal off time is 4:30. And then they'll give you a 90-minute handoff, which is a third of the route,
Right.
and say, hey, be off by 6.
Yeah. Now, if you were the person who took that handoff,
Yeah.
or auxiliary route, or
Right.
whatever other,
We're going to call it a handoff. Bear with
because
us.
in Vegas
It's
we call
the
it a
auxiliary.
handoff. Yeah. So what happens is that they'll give you, let's say it's an hour and 15 minutes.
Yep.
And you're delivering, and you found out in 30 minutes that you've only delivered maybe a quarter of the mail so
Right,
far.
right. It's
Okay?
going to take you well over an hour.
So as you
15.
know, an hour and 15 minutes, you're like, man, that means I'm only going to be done with halfway through this
Right.
handoff.
Yeah.
Okay? So what you do is you have to notify management that, hey, I am not going to make it.
Right, this
you
handoff
have
is
to
taking me
notify
longer.
management.
Yes.
So, and because we have a scanner,
Yeah.
you
send
put in
them
a
message
scanner
on the scanner.
and it send
Yep.
a message through the scanner. Why do you not use your cell phone, Alan?
Because the scanner is because there's a paper trail that the steward
They could say they
can
never
access.
got the text.
Right, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
that's the excuse that we use sometimes when management sends us
Yes, we
text,
do.
right?
Right. It's
So
too
they-
easy to manipulate.
Yeah, so management can say the same thing. So therefore, on a scanner, you send a text saying, "Hey, I will not make the hour and 15 minutes. I'm only going to make 50% of the time.
Right.
What do you want me to do with the rest of the
Exactly.
hour and 15 minutes worth of mail?
Right.
Because it took me an hour and 15 minutes and it's only halfway.
Right.
Means there's still another hour and 15 minutes left, right?
Right. And it means I'm not going to be off by 6. I'm going to be off maybe closer to 7.
7:30.
Yeah,
Because
who
you still have to
knows
drive
what
back
time.
to the station and do the cleanup.
Right. There's all this extra
Yeah.
stuff. And this, again, is management setting you up for failure. And what they're hoping that you're going to do is
Is
skip
run.
your breaks, skip your lunch, do all this bullshit.
And be unsafe. Because
Right.
as you
Because-
guys know, if you get injured or hurt or you get in an accident, they're going to blame you.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, so
and
follow
if
up
you
the safety
misdeliver something, they're going to blame you. And
Yeah.
if you any number of things, they're going to blame you, even though they're setting you up for it. This is why you have to push back against management.
I mean, you run, you might even go to the wrong street.
Yeah.
But the
Oh,
house
dude.
number have all the same numbers, but you
Right.
might be in the wrong street.
Dude, and so that's the thing, right? So the carrier says to themselves, oh, I'm running late. I better skip my lunch so that I can be back, quote, in time. And everything about all these things that we talked about above, everything suffers because of it, including the long-term viability of the post office. Service suffers because it takes time to deliver the mail properly. It takes time to double check addresses. You think about that when you're doing a park and loop, you're walking to the next mailbox, you get to the box and you still haven't seen a house number. Now you got to look around the house, you got to walk all the way back out to the sidewalk, maybe go to the previous house to make sure that right house, all that stuff takes time.
Yeah.
And
Worst feeling-
hold on. And if you think that you're behind schedule, I'll just put the mail through the slot. Hopefully this is right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not going to check.
Yeah.
You know how easy it is to check it is? If you have a mailbox and there's still mail in it,
Yeah, you can
pull
look
that
at the mail that's
out and
already in
look
there.
and
It
make
doesn't
sure
work on a door slot, but
Yeah.
but that is a trick for
Yeah.
it. Yep, absolutely. So, and these other things like getting a signature on a certified letter, guys. These are important legal documents, and I cannot say I've received certified
people
letters.
pay the extra money for it.
Dude, they're expensive. They're between like $6 and $10 for one piece, and I've received certified letters in my own mailbox that I never signed for. That what happened to
Yes.
the green
well, certified
card?
mail sometimes it's hard to find because it's in with a DPS.
Yeah,
Okay?
but dude, again,
But again, that's the failure by our branch, or I'm sorry, our union allowing
Right,
post office
right.
to do this.
So from delivering, I'm sure listeners, that carriers who are in a rush, CCAs, they won't go to the door to get the signature for certified letters. They either put it back in the outgoing or cycle it through to be delivered the next day, or they just put it in the mailbox. And this is such a huge disservice to our customers because in many cases that certified letter is legally required for, a court case or something, and we're fucking that up. And guys, we can't, and all of this again is because management is pushing this bullshit. And all of this is hurting us.
Yeah, when they push this bullshit, that's just a bad service for a lot of the customers.
Yeah. So now let me tell you about the thing that happened yesterday that was beyond the pale, that got me so pissed off. I come into the station and management's already dividing up routes on the whiteboard.
Well, because Alan's on the overtime list now.
I'm on the overtime list now. Right. I used to just ignore the whiteboard. That was
Right.
so nice. I do miss that. But post podcasting doesn't pay. So anyway, and medical bills are expensive. So anyway, so I go and I look at the whiteboard, like, oh, what's it looking like today? And I see that management is splitting routes 3 ways on the street, and each split is 1 hour and 15 minutes. For a grand total of 3 hours and 45 minutes.
That's
of
what I said
street
when I
time.
said earlier.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to him
Yeah.
already about that.
Yeah, Michael's heard all this.
Yeah.
So 3 hours and 45 minutes of street time. This, again, it's beyond the pale. It's egregious. But more than that, it's dishonest. There's no way management honestly thinks that these routes only have 3 hours and 45 minutes of delivery time. There's absolutely no way.
That's half the time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's about right,
half the
actually.
time.
Yeah, because so I confront him about it. Like, hey, what are you guys doing? Where did you get these numbers from? What do you mean 3 hours and 45 minutes of delivery time? And they say, oh, we got low mail volume today. Dude, our routes just got adjusted, and they were adjusted based on low mail volume, right? You guys have been through route inspection. You know that the mail volume goes way down for the route inspection. Then they adjust the routes based on that. Yeah, so when we have low volume, yeah, that's what you adjusted for. But I'll go even further because they were full of shit on that too, because we got ballots yesterday. We got political mail yesterday. And like, so my own route, as an example.
So more than during the route
Yeah, we
count.
actually had more than the reference volume. And dude, that's one of the hidden benefits of them using their bullshit when they do route counts is your reference volume is now low because your route was adjusted when the volume was super low. So my reference volume of letters is like 790. And my reference volume of flats is 90. And so I asked, hey, we got low mail volume today. What's my letters? And it was like 950. And I know I have more than 90 flats because one bundle of political ads is 90 by itself. And we've got all these political ads. And so they're fucking lying about that too. And so a supervisor comes over to my case to try to like talk me down. And I said, look, dude, if I weren't here today, you would split my route and you would split it into 3 hour 15s. So I got an hour and I said, how much office time do I have today? And he's, an hour. Cause they're going to say that or less. Right. Okay. So I got an hour in the office today. So 3 hours and 45 minutes on the street, plus I got a couple of breaks. So we're talking 5 hours. Are you going to tell me with a straight face that you think I have 3 hours of undertime today? And you go, oh, no, I wouldn't say that. Are you going to tell me I have 2 hours of undertime? No, I'm not saying you have any undertime today. Yeah, that's right. And that's how I know that you're a fucking liar when you put this shit up on the board. And I don't think I called him a fucking liar, but I know I cursed. Because I said, and on top of that, we've got ads sitting out on the dock that were supposed to go out on Thursday. That's when they could go out Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. They can't be delayed beyond the third day. They're non-preferential mail. Now it's Saturday. They still haven't gone out. And we got ads that were supposed to go out the Thursday before that. And that's when I said, we got fucking ads sitting out there. And he goes, whoa, I don't cuss. I said, that's fine. You don't have to cuss. I'm going to cuss because I'm pissed off about this. And dude, let me tell you what happened after that. He went back over to the supervisor's pit, him and a couple of, because we got 4 supervisors, can't have too many supervisors. And they go back to the whiteboard and they start adding additional time onto all these splits. So it worked.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
All they did was create
Yeah.
more problems at the end of the day.
Yes.
For the evening manager.
Dude, that's what's
Okay.
funny because the guy who came to cool me down was working a split shift and he had to come back and close. And I'm like, when you come back and there's all these fires to put out, you set those fires. And because you're dishonest in the morning. And carriers, when you buy into this, you're feeding into that dishonesty. And that's the reason they do it.
Yeah. But see, after the route eval is done, they're supposed to come back after, I think, 6 weeks to relook at the route to see if it was adjusted properly.
Yeah.
So if they're putting in numbers of 3 hours and 15 minutes for 45 minutes for the route on those days, it's going to put your average down. Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're going to look at it and say, well, your route doesn't look like it's 8 hours. It
Right.
looks like you need another 30 minutes into your route.
Yeah, your route only has 3
And-
hours and 45 minutes of
Yeah,
delivery
and then-
time. We got to add 2
yeah.
more hours.
And then they may look at Alan's route and say, God, Alan is doing overtime on his route by 30 minutes or more every day.
Right,
So
it's
he
gotta
might
be-
need to
should be
adjust
cut
30
down
minutes.
again, yeah.
So we'll just take that 30 minutes from Alan's route and give to that guy who's
Exactly. The one who dances for
readjust.
management. Yep. All right. So here's
under.
your.
Do you think that person will keep on dancing with management even after they get more added to it? Of course they will.
Yeah, that's the problem. Just like the guy who keeps casing his mail before he clocks in. Yeah. Even though,
Or deliver parcels after they clock out.
dude, it's awful.
Yeah.
So let me give you guys an analogy just to drive. I'm probably belaboring the point at this point, but I'm going to give you guys an analogy. I think this is effective for the bullshit times on the 3996. When Michael comes from the other side of town to come and do podcasting, on a day like today, he's over here on a Sunday, and so the traffic probably wasn't that bad. Maybe it was
about
30 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
So let's imagine that it's midweek. Michael puts my address into Google Maps, and Google Maps says 30 minutes. But he knows it's 5:30 on a Friday or on a Tuesday. He's going to hit traffic.
About an hour.
It's going to be 45 minutes to an hour.
Yep.
And so Google Maps can say it's 30 minutes. Michael drives it, and it takes 45 minutes or it takes an hour. Who's right? Google Maps or Michael?
Yeah.
Michael's right because Michael is experiencing it in the real world.
Yep.
And so if every day, now Google Maps is pretty good, it accounts for traffic or whatever, but management's DOS and PED and whatever,
They don't
it
do
does
that
not.
adjustment.
It doesn't do any of that shit. And that's how you know that they're full of shit. And then management lies on top of it. So if Google Maps day after day after day was saying 30 minutes, but it kept taking Michael 45 to 60 minutes to get here, eventually you would say, I think there's a problem in the map's predictability. And that's what we're running into with these bullshit times that management says for auxiliary assistance or time that they say for your own route. If that doesn't match reality, carrier, listener, if it doesn't match reality, reality is not wrong. Management is wrong.
Now, here's something that another carrier talked about. AI. Okay. Someone said because the postal gets the AI, they're going to adjust the routes properly. I'm telling you that's bogus. Okay. Because if they use the AI and find out the carrier, they can't push the carriers to run the times more.
Right.
They're not going to use it.
Right.
Okay.
Plus, AI probably thinks I have 7 fingers.
Yeah. So it's if they start using AI and find out that they can't get the better results than they want, they're going to get rid of it.
Right.
Okay? It's simple as that. Okay. We've had TIRAP and we've had all these other programs that created so that the carriers be more closer to 8 hours. And then now that it's over, they're coming in around and adding more to the routes again.
Yeah.
So every time they do something to cut routes,
Yeah.
they'll do something afterwards to add more to the routes because they didn't like the results for the previous one.
Right.
Why? Because the ones that works to make it 8 hours makes it 8 hours.
And the service suffers. The customer service and the postal service both suffer from it.
Yeah.
So the takeaways here.
Takeaway is
Yeah.
we need to save our job.
Yeah. And so we do that
Okay.
by not letting management bully us, by remembering that the time that's in box K on that 3996 or in box L that management approves, whatever, that's not your time. Your time when you're doing that work goes down at the bottom in box P, I think it is. Down at the bottom, begin delivery, end delivery. And that's how long it actually takes. And it takes however long it takes.
Management and even I don't know, maybe Brian Renfro looks at the numbers and there's too much overtime being used and okay,
Right.
all that BS. Okay, but here's the thing: there is a budget. They know how much it takes for all the carriers when they work 8 hours.
Right.
So if we create more routes that is 8 hours, they know what the budget is going to be.
Right.
Okay. It's the overtime they're not sure about, so they always create some number on overtime. So when they talk about budget and trying to ask Congress for money,
Sure.
when the numbers are more correct, then we'll get the right numbers better.
Yeah, I
but
got
there's
you.
all this lies that the
That's
post
the
office keeps
problem.
on saying. Then
Right.
anybody who looks at the numbers go, wait, we just gave you $5 billion for vehicles. Where are all the vehicles? And where's that money go?
Yeah.
Okay. We approved you to get rid of pre-funding, to get rid of that so you can go back into positive numbers.
Yeah.
You're still back in the same negative amount that you were when the pre-funding of us were on.
Right.
How
And-
is that possible? So for any smart person in Congress looks at those things, they're going to go, this doesn't make any sense. Okay.
And when you falsify the Advo scan, when you falsify your parcel scans, when you skip that certified letter, when you skip your lunch, you're giving management cover and you're helping them to destroy the postal service.
Yes. Because they're a bunch of idiots because they're all they are
Yeah.
is followers.
Right.
So when you get somebody like Postmaster Steiner comes in from FedEx who wants to make post office private so they can buy out the post office for FedEx, you're helping them for us to become FedEx.
Yeah, basically. All right. So that's what we got. All right. So there we go. Okay, the music is up. So guys, thank you very much for listening. Hope you got a little bit motivated today. Dude, I was so fired up yesterday. And that's all we got. We will catch you all next time.
Welcome to Classes of
Whoop, that's the wrong one. Hey, keep going, Michael. Phil.
You know, I need like 10, 15 minutes.
All right, don't worry about it. Not worth it. Classes of Mail.
Don't quit your day job.
I know. Let's listen to Classes of Mail.
Don't quit your day job.